All right, Mr. Odom. I would say, all right, Mr. Odom. All right, everybody. It is Mr. Odom, I think. And I'm going to cover problems 11 through 20 on the chapter 13 practice test. So you have the answers. You can see how I do the work. So when you are taking your test, you can have this video and the other video I made of the first 10 problems. You can have those ready and available. So if you get stuck, you can go in and see how I solved these problems. And then maybe that can help you to solve the problem you're working on. So let me get started. So number 11, write the equation in slope-intercept form, which remember is y equals m times x, the slope times x plus b, the y-intercept. All right, well, what do I have to do? I have 2 points. Okay, they're already labeled. I have this one. And guess what? X is 0, y is 3, so there's my y-intercept. I have another point, and with 2 points, I can always find the slope. So I do that, and I labeled my points x2, y2, and x1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and x sub 1, y sub 1. I use the slope formula, and I calculate the slope to being 2, and then I go ahead and write my equation in slope-intercept form. Number 12, write in point-slope form. So you have to remember that this is the point-slope form. And so I wrote that down. And what do I know? I know what the slope is. The slope is -1/2. So what I do, I just put it in there. Here's my point, -2, 4. So this is x sub 1, and that's y sub 1. I just put them in there. I have to clean this up a little bit. Don't leave it like this, okay? So I'm subtracting a negative. I can add the opposite, so make it an addition problem. And so that way I only have one operation here, one operation there, and I have my answer, y minus 4 equals -1/2 times x plus 2, which is this answer. So you'll have a problem like that for problem 12. Problem 13, there's lots of lines going different directions, and it says the points in each table below lie on a line. So it tells you that these points are on a line. Okay, you just need to drag and drop the tables to classify each line according to its type of slope. So I want to know which one of these lines has a positive slope, which one has a negative, which one has 0, which one is undefined. So let me find the 0 slope. Well, I know for 0 slope, that means that the y values all have to be the same. So that's why I chose this set of coordinates. For the undefined slope, I know the x coordinates all have to be the same. So I chose that set of points. Now for negative slope and positive slope, I just look at one of the last 2 sets of points. And here I use 2 of the coordinates. I calculated the slope and it was negative. So if this is negative slope, then, and all these points lie on a line, on the same line, then this set of points represents a line with negative slope, which means this last one has to go here. All right, so notice I didn't have to calculate the slope here to see that it's positive. You could if you wanted, but you don't have to, because I figured out the answers to the other 3, so the 4th one has to go in the empty spot. All right, so that's a good test-taking strategy. Number 14, so you develop an app to help students complete their homework, their math homework. To earn money, you sell advertising space on the app's main screen. An advertiser pays you $25 per month and an additional 3, I don't know, that's not even 3 cents. That's like 3 cents would be over here. So that's a very little bit of money each time the app is opened. So you want to graph a linear equation that represents your monthly income. So your monthly income is in dollars. When the app is opened, X times. So the X values represents the number of times the app is opened. And you can see that that's labeled down here. And then your monthly income is on the y-axis. Okay, so here's my equation. Y equals 0.003x plus 25. So what did I do? I changed that into, and I forgot a zero here, I changed the decimal into a fraction. So this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So y equals 3 over 1,000x plus $25 per month. So this part here represents how much money you make when people open the app. And then you get to add $25 for each month. Okay, so when this thing first starts, you start here at this point. That's your y-intercept. And then you rise and run after that. Now, how are we going to find another point on here? I look at my slope, and I want to find something that could match these large values down here, right? So I multiply 3 over 1,000 by 10 because it's hard to plot 1,000 on here. So then I get 30 over 10,000. I'm like, okay, 30 over 10. Well, I start at 25. I can add 30. That takes me to 55. So there you go. There's my rise. And my run of 10,000, I can find that value on my scale down there on my x-axis. So I can plot this point. Okay, I can plot the point 10,000 and 30. Okay, I'm sorry, 10,000 and 55, not 30. 10,000 and 55. Let me get my blue. Okay, so I can plot that point, which means now I can draw a line through it. All right, so that's how you solve that problem. You'll see a problem similar to that on your test. Number 15, write an equation of the line that passes through this point and is perpendicular, okay, to the graph of this equation. Well, a line that's perpendicular to this line here, y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4, has to have a slope so that when I multiply it by negative 1/3, I get negative 1. Well, negative 1/3 times 3, or 3 over 1, equals negative 1. So whatever line I'm looking for has to have a slope equal to 3. Well, look, it's got to have this slope and go through that point. So I can use the point slope form. I plug in what I know, and I work it out. And I do have a line that has a slope of 3. Does it pass through this point for 3? Well, I can check that. Y equals 3 times x is 4 minus 9. So it equals 12 minus 9. So it equals 3. So yes, this line does pass through that point. All right, 5 more to go. Number 16, an online media service offers video and music downloads. Each download of a song costs $1. So there you go, $1 for each song. Each download of a video costs 3 times as much as the song download. What is that? Then it must cost $3, right? It must cost 3 for every song download. You have a credit of this much. How many songs can you purchase after you buy 15 videos? So I write this equation in standard form. What does each piece mean? Well, this first piece says that X represents the number of songs, so each song costs $1. So that's what that represents. This part says, okay, each video costs 3 times as much, so it costs $3. Okay, so here is the amount of, this is how much the cost would be for my songs, and my videos. And I have $90 to spend. Okay. Well, what have I done? I've already bought 15 videos. So I can find out how much I've spent on videos, which tells me how many songs I can get because each one costs $1, right? So this is just a simple equation. I solve it and I can see that I can purchase 45 songs. All right, so be careful when you're reading these problems. Don't go so fast because you'll confuse yourself. Read them slowly and carefully. Try to make sense of them. All right, the equation, distance equals the rate times the time, where D is the distance, R is the rate in meters per minute. That sounds like that could be a slope. And T is the time. So we want to consider these statements below. Okay, and what do we need to do? We need to graph the equation that represents the rate of the fastest person. So we're looking for a slope. All right, so Thomas walks 1,200 meters in 8 minutes. So I represent that, 1,200 meters in 8 minutes. Becky walks 10 minutes and goes 1,400 meters. So she basically walks 1,400 meters in 10 minutes. And Derek walks at a rate of 145 meters per minute. So this is a unit rate. And remember, unit rate, that is the slope. Okay, so I want to change these other rates right here, 1,400 over 10 minutes, into a unit rate. That way I can compare them. I can compare what Becky did and Thomas did to what Derek did. So I go ahead and I convert these into unit rates. And as I do that, I get my slope, which that is M. And I can put it in the equation y equals 150x. And I can go ahead and graph that. All right. I already have one of the coordinates. Okay. I do have the other coordinate, 0, 0. Why? Because you haven't gone anywhere when time first starts at 0, you haven't gone anywhere. You haven't moved at all. So the clock starts once you start moving. So this point, 0, 0, is on all three of these lines, but it's definitely on the line of the fastest walker. Okay. So let's move on to number 18. So you work 2 jobs. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to build an equation that represents how much money you make. Okay, you earn $11.90 per hour as a salesperson and $10.50 per hour stocking shelves. Okay, your combined earnings. So when I add those two, the amount of money I make as a salesperson and the amount of money I make stocking shelves, when I add it together, I get $178.50. And then it tells you X represents the number of hours you work stocking shelves. Well, how much did I make stocking shelves? I made $10.50. I multiply that by X. And then Y represents the number of hours you worked in sales. Well, how much did I get paid for sales? $11.90 per hour. So I have the 11.9 times Y. This is in standard form. And it says graph the equation that models this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and graph it. And so I find the x-intercept and I find the y-intercept. And notice I did the work here. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. What does x equal? So we calculate that. And I plot that point. When my y-intercept is when x equals 0. X equals 0. What does y equal? So I use the equation and I calculate that. And I plot that point. And then I just connect them. Okay. So there is a graph that shows how much I make, $178.50. If I wanted to make $178.50 and I wanted to, it it would be on this line that would fall. Okay, so I work, let's see here. Let me get I could pick a point on this line. It's hard to find one that's close where I could do this. Let's say here's a point that's close to here, right? That's kind of like maybe I work 7 hours stocking shelves and 9 hours um, as a salesperson. Then that would give me $178.50. All right. Or maybe I worked what looks like 1 hour stocking shelves and 14 hours as a salesperson. That would also give me $178.50. Okay. So there's different combinations of times that you work where the amount of time that you stock shelves and the amount of time that you are a salesperson can change and vary. Okay. So that's how you can interpret that line. Number 19, that was probably too much information. Anyway, you have an initial amount of $45 in savings, and then you deposit an equal amount, that's important, into the account each week. After 5 weeks, the account holds $105. That sounds like a coordinate to me, right? 5 weeks, $105. And the account has write an equation that represents the amount Y, which is dollars, of money in the account after X weeks. Well, what do I know? I know that I have a starting point, an initial amount. So at 0 weeks, I have $45. So that gives me a coordinate. And it is the y-intercept. And so that's B. So that's going to go into my slope-intercept form. I just have to figure out the slope now. Do I have another point that I can use? Yes, 5 and 105. So I go ahead and I calculate the slope using the formula for slope. And I see the slope is 12. And I can write the equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, the part that's going to go into the answer is this part. This is y equals, so what do I put in the box? 12x plus 5. All right, last problem. A bathtub is draining at a constant rate. That's key, okay? Because then we can calculate the slope. After 2 minutes, it holds 30 gallons of water, okay? 3 minutes later, so I'm at 2 minutes, I got 30 gallons. So 3 minutes later must mean I'm at 5 minutes. It holds 12 gallons of water. So I was able to find 2 coordinates. And with 2 coordinates, I can find an equation of the line by doing what? 1, calculate the slope, right? Step 1, calculate the slope. Step 2, use the point slope form and write the equation in point slope form. And then step 3 is get y by itself and write the equation of the line in slope intercept form. And then the part that goes in the box would be this part because it already has the y equals. So, all right, another video of incredible length. Sorry about that, but there's a lot of word problems here. I probably talked too much, but hopefully this is helpful. Good luck on your test. Make sure you have this video and the other video open. This is Mr. Odom, and I'm getting out. You guys have a good day.